welcome to PBCJ's Above and Beyond. I'm your host, Alicia, and here with me today is the founder of the KaGra Foundation, Miss Derry-Ann Morgan. But before we chat with her, let's take a look on our social media question of the day, and we'll be right back with more PBCJ's Above and Beyond. Welcome back to PBCJ's Above and Beyond. And here with us today is Derry-Ann Morgan. What's up, Derry-Ann?
Nothing much. What's up, Alicia? Everything's good.
I am good and I am blessed. But before we go into the heart and the meat of the matter, tell us about Long Grass, St. Catherine, where you grew up.
Okay, so people don't believe it's a real place. So I've had to take people there to show them like Long Grass is real. Mm-hmm. I didn't just make this up. It is actually on the map, well, some of the maps of Jamaica. Long Grass is a rural district in St. Catherine, way up in the hills. If you've ever been to Dovecot, it's past Dovecot, past Kitsiltown, like all the way up.
A whole day worth of driving.
Yes, like if you're scared of heights, might not want to look when you go in because it's a lot of terrain and corners and stuff, but to me, it's one of the best places on earth.
Okay. Derry-Ann as a little girl, what did she like? What she didn't like? Was she vibrant? Was she reserved? Tell us about her.
Derry-Ann as a little girl was always in an orange tree. Oh. My mother said I was like a bird. I was always in an orange tree. I would stick the knife in my side to climb the tree, and then you wouldn't see me, but you could find me because you would see all the peelings and the stuff that was fun. So, yeah, Derry-Ann as a little girl was quiet. I wasn't very outgoing. I was very bright, but you wouldn't know. And I got teased a lot. Aww. I have all older brothers, so most of it came from them.
I get it.
I am the youngest of 4 children for my mother, so yeah, they had me down and all of that. That was me.
So about your values now, you said you've learned it from your grandmother and your mother, yes. How to care. How did that add to you doing what you're doing and being the person that you are?
Well, basically, when you get older, you realize that even though you might think that you didn't have a lot growing up, I always could sit and know that somebody was gonna come to my house to ask my grandmother or my mother for something, some oil or some even fire sticks to start fire to cook because it was wood fire.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm that old. And she would never say no. I remember one thing that she did every single time she sat down to eat, she would say, I wonder if I have anybody hungry. Before she, and she, you learn some certain things without knowing that you're learning them. I would see my mother, my yard, really, Alicia, when they're counting plates, you hear 21, 22, 23. Seriously, I'm not making this up. 21, 22, 23. If they're going by names, you're listening for your name. Sometimes you hear somebody shout out, we never hear my name. So somebody wasn't going to get any dinner. But that's the kind of environment I grew up in. People would move in and live with us, and we didn't know that they were living there. We didn't know when they moved in. They just come, and that's just you just realize they never left. Like they're just living there, and that's how we grew up. So I would say it was learned. It's not necessarily innate, but you won't realize because it's so close, because that's all you've ever known.
Perfect.
Yes, yeah.
It must be fun.
It was fun. It was fun. It was torture to a little girl. It was fun because I remember I used to trade my dinner for like Jackie Ride.
No, that must be fun.
That was fun for me. But then what happened was once I got back and, started feeling hungry, I would cry. Like I want my food. So what they started doing was to eat the food before I get the ride. So once the ride was over, you have no food.
Yeah, so your cry would just be in vain.
It was just crying. But yeah, you get tricked a lot. I remember my brother, the eldest child from my mom, he used to tell us, because you have to bless your food. Like we grew up with principle and everything, and he used to be adamant that you have to bless your food. But not only would he tell you to bless your food, he would tell you to give God some of the food. Okay.
Who was God?
That was him. But we didn't know, like 3, 4, 5 years old, and you can't look, so you have to hold your head down and put up the plate and tell God to take some of the food. So one day I was just like, why God only eat dumpling and meat? And then one day I cried that God took too much. And he's like, okay, close your eye. I tell him to put back some. And he just put it back in the plate. And, like for me then it was torture, but it was fun. Like we didn't have television. Well, we had television, but it was special occasion that they would whip out the generator, what you call it now, but we call it Delco.
Yes.
And put it far so you can actually hear the TV. And we had a kerosene oil fridge. So even we were the richest of the poorest. That's what we thought.
Okay.
But that was true wealth. That's not even riches. That was wealth, because you ate organic.
Yes.
You lived organic. You actually knew your family members. You had to see them, to talk to them. Relations were real. It wasn't a text. It wasn't a LOL. It was actual people laughing at midnight. Till your grandmother said, "Oh, no, stop it!" like that kind of a thing. So it was a really rich upbringing. Like it was really, really rich. And even now, I'm trying to find pieces of it so my kids can experience that. I mean, they're not really having much of it, but
because this day and age is different.
You can't get them away from the cell phones and the tablets and all of that stuff. But I wouldn't trade it for the world.
About your career path. You became a nurse, a social worker. Did your values add to you? I mean, it's a caring environment if you pack them together.
I'm not sure. Sometimes it's just survival, because my first job was as a makeup artist. My first real profession where you went to school and got certified was as a makeup artist. And then, it's something I still love. I still do it. For somewhere in there, I still do it. But then I think just the care for people. I love taking care of people. I love being hospitable. I love hosting. I love making people feel comfortable.
Yes.
I love making people feel special. So I guess that has something to do with it too. That's all I've known, because my grandmother was a midwife. I think she used to deliver babies and stuff. My mother is a nurse. So, I mean, I've...
Genetic.
Yeah, I think that's a part of my makeup. I have uncles who are nurses and cousins, and I think that's a part of my makeup. For the social worker aspect of it, I love children.
Okay.
I really, really do love children. As a social worker, my caseload was with younger kids, 3 to 6 years old. And the program required that you go to their homes, and what we would do is get them ready for school.
Yes.
We worked with families that were TANF eligible, which means temporary assistance for needy families. So they pretty much didn't have, because overseas pre-K is not free. So kindergarten is free. But pre-K, most of the times you have to pay for it. So what you find is the kids whose parents aren't they can't afford to send them to pre-K, they fall behind in school.
Yeah.
And studies show that once a child falls behind, it's very hard for them to catch up. So we tried to level the playing field with that program where we would go into the homes, we brought all the materials, and I would sit with the parent of the child for an hour, and I would teach them how to teach the child to become the child's first teacher. So you would spend 15 to 20 minutes every day for 5 days with the child, and I would come back once a week. They got homework, they got everything, but before they got the work, we would do an assessment on the child to see the level. For every age, there should be a stage that matches for that child.
Yeah.
So we do ASQ, social emotional communications, all those kinds of assessments with them, find out about their fine motor skills, gross motor skills, make sure they can hop, skip, and jump, and do things that kids their age are supposed to do. And then we would customize a program for that child. So that's pretty much it.
So you mentor kids. It is, I mean, it seems like you are developed to care. When you were mentoring these kids, was it natural or did you get upset sometime?
Not really, because you have to allow kids to be kids. And you have to remember what you were like at their age. And they have more to deal with because of all the information that is out there, their innocence sometimes. It's taken away from them involuntarily. Because once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. You know it for the rest of your life. So we have to try to protect that in them. So mentoring them, you have to not come to them from a place of judgment, but just allow them to tell you whatever it is that they want to tell you. See the human behind it, the child behind it. And then there are a lot of factors that come together to make the person that is sitting or standing in front of you. You have to weigh all of that and be mindful of it while you're there. And like I said, try not to judge. Just have an open mind and just speak to the person as a person.
With that being said, we'll be right back with more PBCJs Above and Beyond. If you're just joining us, this is PBCJ's Above and Beyond. I'm your host, Alicia, and we are here with Derry-Ann Morgan, founder of the KaGra Foundation Derry-Ann. What is the KaGra Foundation?
I have heard that question so many times, but KaGra is just a fusion of my friend's name that I lost 17 years ago. She died on May 13th, 2002. She just went to bed, never woke up.
Wow.
She was 22 years old, just finished the University of the West Indies and was about to go out into life and do some great things. And she just, like, from one moment to the next, her name was Kamisha Grant, but she called herself KaGra. And she also, what she did, she turned Kamisha backwards and she called herself Asimak. And we would always argue because I never liked Asimak. I was like, she tried to, and then she's like, oh, you just hating on me because when you turn Derry-Ann backwards, it doesn't make anything. I was like, no, but it don't sound good. And I always like KaGra because I told her it sounded really strong and African. So it's just a fusion. And that's why even when the name is written, it's an uppercase K, lowercase a, uppercase G, lowercase R-A, just to differentiate the Kamisha and the Grant coming together. So that's why, hence comes KaGra.
What does KaGra do?
We just love people. That's the simplest way to put it. We just try to love people, meet them where they are in whatever way love means, like at that particular time to that particular person, because it means something different for everybody, for every project that we take on, for every person that we try to help, it means something different. So that's basically what we do. We just love people.
Love is a verb.
Love is a verb.
Tell us about that one.
Love is a verb is a slogan Actually, the official slogan for KaGra Foundation is passing on the love. And then we had an event called Love is a Verb, and it just kind of stuck. And we just ran with it. Love is a verb, and it is doing for people what you would want them to do for you if they were in a position to help you, should you need help, whether it's a hug, a smile, some clothes, some food, one of your bills paid, a house, a car. Love means different things for people. And it's not luxury, it's necessity. Things that people shouldn't have to struggle if that's where they are, or things that sometimes life takes you up and down.
It's a roller coaster
Yeah, it's
ride.
a roller coaster ride. One minute you have a lot, the next minute you have nothing. So we try to be there and bridge that gap for those people who may need something that maybe we don't have it firsthand, but we know how to get that for them, or we can try together to get that for them. So that's what we do.
You are based here in Jamaica and Florida. So it's two different teams.
It's actually the same team.
Tell us about your team.
That one team just works really hard. Okay, so we originated in South Florida. We are actually in the process, because we do a lot of work in Jamaica. So we're in the process right now of getting a branch registered where you could say we're official. We've done the process at the Companies Up Jamaica, and also the Charitable Friendly Society to get the charitable status. So once we become operational here officially, then we could get a lot more done. Because what we found out was shipping things here to Jamaica without the nonprofit status here, we did not get any tax breaks or any of the things that we need to help us where it comes to duty free. It was very expensive, very rough. We've never gotten a grant or any public funding. It's all persons like you and myself going into their pockets and saying, here, I believe in what you're doing and I want to be a part of it. Whether it's $5, $10, $100, $500, but it's all been privately funded.
Wow.
Yes.
And you managed to run 6 different programs. Mentorship, toy, clothing, food, job. I know I'm missing something more.
We have the food pantry program, which, because what we found was that maybe not so much here in Jamaica, but overseas, people have their pantry filled with food that they're not using. And the first guy that we went to his house to clean his pantry, that's the name of the program, he sat there and you could see that he could not believe what we took out of his pantry, what he actually was using and what wasn't being used. We had 3 different stashed, ones that he wanted, the one he didn't want, and what was expired.
Wow.
And the biggest stack was the expired ones. We couldn't even throw it away. I was just like, I cannot throw that out, because it was like canned goods, cereals, stuff like that, pasta. And I was just like, I cannot put that in the dumpster. And then we said, you know what? We're just going to put it in front of the mailbox, because everybody has to come to the mailbox. In this complex, if somebody sees it and wants it, they'll pick it up.
Yeah.
I was inside. I was like, I want to go check to see if it's still there. We went back in less than half an hour. It was all gone. Somebody took it. So that's what we do, because we realize that that happens a lot. And it's probably happening here in Jamaica, and people don't know. So we're willing to come and clean your pantry too. You sit, you don't do anything, you just point. We do all the work. That I want, that I don't want. And we fix it back real nice. We take what you don't want. Same thing with the clothing. We take clothes that people no longer wear, toys that their kids no longer use. For the mentorship program, we try to find wherever the need is, job placement, and it's all the team. It's all the team. I can't take the credit for none of this. I tell them, you know, when you surround yourself with people smarter than you, it really makes you look smart.
That is true.
Because they're like really smart. Like, y'all so smart. Like, you just make me look so good, but it's really them. It's not real. I can't take the credit for it.
Hold that thought. We'll have more with Derry-Ann Morgan when we return on PBCJ's Above and Beyond. I'm your host, Alicia Steele. Welcome back to Above and Beyond, where great Jamaicans are highlighted. With us still is Derry-Ann Morgan, and I'm your host, Alicia. So Derry-Ann, tell us what is coming next, because KaGra sounds fun, and I love people, and I like to hear about people giving back to people. So tell me about what's next for KaGra.
Okay, so what we actually have right now coming up, I don't know if you saw the article in the Star, this 15-month-old baby named Aiden that lost his sight.
Wow.
He's also deaf in one ear, has a shifted lungs, and we're actually working on getting him medical assistance overseas.
Wow.
So I've already reached out to a team from the Bascom Palmer Eye Institute, and we're working on what they told us that would be required to have him come there and get help.
Wow. I feel like I want to jump right into KaGra.
You should.
But tell us, what is important to you?
Loving people is important.
What is your greatest desire?
My greatest desire is to see everyone living together in love and having what they need to provide for their families.
Do you think that your purpose is being fulfilled?
I do.
So finish these sentences for me now. Life is...
Love.
Okay. The world needs...
Love.
I believe in...
Love.
Love is...
A verb.
I want to thank...
Everyone.
The person I want to be proudest of me is...
That would be persons, and that would be my mom and my children.
I want to forgive.
Myself.
I want my legacy to be...
Love.
The purpose of life is...
Love.
Thank you, and thank you for watching. This is the PBCJ's Above and Beyond. I'm your host, Alicia, and remember, we highlight great Jamaicans. See you next time.